Good day, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I was 30 minutes ahead. Well, I thought I was. The dang on camera cut off. So, I had to stop doing my project Buggy for a while because I'm getting lined up for neck surgery in less than 29 days. So, I'm booked against the time. I had to move my camper over where the GMC Jimmy used to be. I now have the frame. The body is gone. I have 1987 305, not the high output, from a Monte Carlo, not Super Sport. Has the BOP transmission, which means Buick, Pontiac, and Olds. It has the multi-bolt pattern for all three companies. Has the Chevy bolt pattern on the back of the block. Casting number comes back as also 305. 87 Monte Carlo Classic. Transmission I'm going to change. It's going to be either the Turbo 350 or the Turbo 400. I like those transmissions better. So in order to do that Model A, my T-bucket, yeah, things are a little bit messed up here because I had to move a lot of stuff out of the way. So in order to be able to do all that up here, I have to do these projects first. That's what brings in my income. So I do these videos on the hopes to create another source of revenue for my downtime. And how that helps me is YouTube gets recognition that my videos are worth watching, that people are watching it, they like it, they subscribe it, and they share it, and they comment on it. It takes 1,000 subscribers before it gets to that point, before YouTube will consider my material to be of any use. So I try to be resourceful as possible, trying to help people that I don't even know take interest in this kind of stuff, and encouraging them that they can do this themselves. And these are the ways that I've learned how to do it, and this is how I know how to do it. And the way you can thank me is by hitting like, subscribe, and share. And if you got questions, put comments, and I will answer them fast as I can. So, on today's menu, things that need to be redone, which I already knew was going to happen. I should have test fitted first, but after I did it, I thought I bent it down enough, but I'm not going to bend it. That all is okay. I got additional tabs that I'm going to cut off. I'm going to put it on either side of here, and then I'm just going to take this, move it up here, get a piece of all thread into the shift rod, and then I'm just going to, it's going to lay down lower and come across here. And I'm going to build something possibly over top of it to keep anything from getting underneath, jammed into here to where you can't shift the gear. So that's one thing. The next thing is I still have the bottom back half of the motor down here, down right behind the chain there, has to be mounted because the motor is braced to the upper half of the frame. The suspension is able to jump up and down without disturbing the motor. So to make that happen, I'm going to have to cut this guy here and also over there as well, and then run a piece of square tubing straight all the way back and down to the lower half of the axle protector, and do the same thing and run it straight back and tag it back in down there, or a piece of round tubing, whatever is necessary. And then that will allow me to run my support for my motor at the bottom half, either from here or from this top bar down and back. And then I'll crisscross it, brace it so it can't shift. I also have to do something to those two bars back there to keep them from shifting. And I think I'm going to weld a square plate right behind the battery box that I have, and somehow brace it to this top part here so the back of the motor can't shift back and forth. As I put torque on this motor is going to try to do this number. It's going to keep trying to come over here like this because of the amount of torque that's being put on it. So it's going to constantly keep tugging on this end over here. So I'm going to try to find a way to prevent that, and that looks to be the way that I could stop that from happening. So I'm also looking at, there's going to be possibly some internet service our way, finally. So that means I could do live videos. I could run my videos longer, because then it can go straight to the computer from a camera, and I could do this time lapse, and you guys will see better quality of my projects being built, if that's of any interest. And again, the only way I know how to entertain my audience is through my audience telling me in the comment sections what they want to see, what they like. Did I get the right angle? Was my information clear and accurate enough to understand? Was it worth watching? So any user input tells me the direction that this will go in. But I'm making it up as I go along. I now have 51 subscribers. I appreciate you guys very much for taking interest in my channel and telling me thank you by hitting like and subscribe. And I also want to thank all of my sponsors for taking great interest in my channel and trying to help me grow my channel. And your products have been totally amazing. Benchmark abrasives, those discs are absolutely amazing. They do a great job at cutting. They seem to cut a little faster. I don't notice as much debris flying off of the cutoff wheels as other brands, which I will not mention. I'm not here to discredit a company over their products. That's not how I work here. So the flapper disc, they do an amazing job. I use them all the time, and they really smooth things out, and they do seem to be a little bit quicker getting the job done. So yes, I really appreciate you guys for sending me those. And we can never forget Metal Rescue. Boy, they are awesome. Awesome. I mean, you guys seen that chain. Man, that chain was crusty, rusty. And if you don't believe me, I'll do it again. Because I have another chain from a Polaris 400 that needs to be done. And, well, if that's not convincing enough, I still have that same bucket of metal rescue. I'll put a rag in it and pull it out and sit it right there on that frame. And we'll let it sit there for overnight. And that right there will tell you the truth. This stuff is nothing to mess with. It's amazing. That stuff actually works. So I'm going to do that here. So I'm going to grab a rag and I want to put it in there, get it nice and juicy. And then just to keep it from drying out, I'm going to take a plastic bag and wrap around it so it keeps that juice right up against that frame. And we're going to let it be. I'm not going to take it off until tomorrow. And then before I take it off, I'm going to have the video rolling. You're going to see it again. That this is nothing, that I can make up. This is real stuff. This is reality. I love stuff that actually works like it says it does. I don't like that McDonald's glorified burger in the advertisement, and then when you get it, it's like somebody done stole your dang on beef. So, well, I'm going to cut out that, the name of the company. So, yeah, that's what we're going to get going on today. Can't promise how much I'm going to get done. I am really exhausted. I'm really hurt. I'm in slow motion today, so turtle power. Go turtle power. Let's see how much I can get done today. Hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So here we go. There's a lot of figuring out to do and what to do and what not to do. And, well, this piece of all thread is what not to do. It's not strong enough for a shifter. Every time I went to pull back on it, it would just bow. I mean, it was like bow and arrow ready to snap. So it'd be good if it was for the reverse lever, because it doesn't take that much, but I don't need it for that. I got my cable set up for that. So that worked out really well using a shift cable from a Chevy pickup truck. And then I shot it down underneath that metal tab that holds the wire harness. And then I shot it through a hole through the frame, exits out the back. I took that cable, the outer coating I had cut in half, and then I turned it around to push into that square hole. And then it comes out the back here. So I'll have to modify this lever that's real close to the camera. You can see it right there, neutral and reverse. So I have to shorten that and put some kind of barrel nut there. I have to modify that bracket that comes through with the adjuster thumb screw and have it come back up to the other screw, which is not going to be a problem. I've got the chain resolved, which may be just slightly a little tight, but I'm going to run it like that. I'm not seeing that it's going to be an immediate issue unless you hit some serious bumps. So, perfect shifter rod that I found was from a Polaris Scrambler 400. It goes all the way back there to the shift lever that I took from a Kawasaki 360 and stuck it on there. The shifter from this nut here, this ball joint here, all the way back, same as that one, is the original Scrambler 400. The only difference is the lever that's on the shaft, on the shift shaft, is from a Kawasaki 360 or 300. So that worked on there perfectly. I just don't have it fully seated. I need to find a 10 millimeter bolt to fit through there so I can lock it down. Then this shaft will be straighter. It'll be a straight shot. But if you look here, it's no longer, it used to be back here. That's where I made it. And it was just entirely too close to the ribs. If you were to lose control and you started bouncing up and down, and that thing, this rubber handle didn't protect you, you probably have a punctured lung. So now I took the tabs that were on here, I cut them both off. There was original 5-point harness for the strap. It's not necessary. It's going to have a seat belt for the lap. Then also for up here for the shoulder, it'll come across and lock in. The buckles are over there, so I got them out of the way so they wouldn't get torched. And now I welded that right in here, and as you can see, she shifts just fine. So shifts right through all the gears just fine, no problem. So that's going to be pretty cool, and it's within arm's reach. So you can just slap it forward and then pull it back. So when you push it forward, it takes it up through the gears. It's like kicking your foot up. And then when you pull back, it's like kicking down and going down through the gears. So that's been reversed, because there's no swing room for that up there to clear the case. So that's why that's like that. Now, if I wanted to, I could have just put a rocker on there and it could have reversed it, and I'm just not going through all that. Not when it's effective. I can take my hand, put it on there, and shift the gears. If you don't know how to shift the gears, you probably shouldn't be riding it. So that's taken care of. So we now have both front brakes welded in. They will have to come back off. The wheels will have to come back off. This one needs the wheel bearing replaced. So I'm going to pull that off, put the wheel bearing in, and that will stop this wheel from doing this. And we'll have a functioning cable brake and hydraulic brake. The gas cable is resolved. I am going to have to put a locking nut up there at the adjuster so it doesn't come out of there, get hung on something and go full throttle. That would not be good. The other thing I did, I'm trying to block the sun here. Okay, so you can see where I took a small little metal tab, welded it right to this bar. So now I have my coil installed. Awesome. Then on the back of here, excuse me guys, I am really hurt. So back here, now we have our, I would say, rear running light. It's not a functioning brake light. Temporarily wired. Got the battery box made. So now you can see it without the battery. So got that made and mounted. It's welded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off on the side, and it's going to be a bungee strap that's going to wrap around the battery to keep the battery in its place. And I left these two tabs here so it comes up and over the battery. So if the battery that I get fits right in there, then I'm just going to use a rubber strap it down. I also welded in my starter relay. Then I'm going to do something about this wire harness to where it's not so mangly up there. All I got to do is take this and pull it up, you know, and push it up out of its way. And that should be fine. So these Arctic 500 shocks turned out to be freaking awesome. They're a perfect fit. So that's what I'm running. I won't need to run dual shocks back here. So that's awesome. So I still have to mount this part of the motor, bottom half, to the frame, which is going to cause me to have to cut right there in the front on both sides and take a section out probably about the width of the motor, so that way I can run a piece of round tubing from that bar down here that protects the axle and the brake caliper, and I'm going to run it straight up and over so it keeps everything squared, keeps the axle from being able to walk itself back and forth. I'm going to cross brace it so it can't do any of this. So your axle's not walking back and forth like that. Then, right here, that motor, I'm going to run it straight down, straight to the frame and up. And it's going to connect there. So that way, the tail of the motor can't go back and forth. And then I got a brace. I'm going to put a piece of metal between here and here so that can't allow the motor to walk back and forth either. And I'm thinking possibly coming off of this corner here and then come up here to this tab, so that way that can help keep the downforce. As you're bouncing up and down, it'll keep downforce here. Same thing on the other side. So if it's keeping force this way and equal force this way, it can't do any of this. Also, with that down there, it'll stop that from being able to happen also. So the trick of it is, I have to make it to where it's removable. Welding it here will be fine. But when you get it out here, you have to be able to make sure you can get it up off of there. So that's going to be a little tricky. But I think it's doable. I should be able to make something happen. I'll keep playing around with it. That's why it takes so long in between the videos. Because I try to figure it out before I attempt to do something. If it seems to be good, then I go for it. As far as air filter goes, I haven't got that far yet. I have one in mind that I would like to put on here. But again, I haven't got that far. I'd need to sit down, so pardon me. I'm not out of breath. So what you're hearing is a person who is suffering in pain. So that's what it sounds like. I've been at this all day. Most of my day is consumed hunting for stuff to work on here that'll make things happen. And then I come back to the video and show the aftermath and explain how I've done stuff. So when this area is complete, seatbelt's going back on. That's important. Because if this thing flips over, you do not want to fall out of this. A lot can go wrong. So if you want to see some failed attempts, that's what I was using originally, was this here. And of course it's too short. So I went to the all thread, and that's just too flimsy. So I got away from that. I was in doubt, I tossed it out. The next step was I was going to use this piece that I cut off the back of the buggy. I was going to split that in half, and I was going to put one on each end. But this is a piece of aluminum, so that would not work. So I still have some wiring I have to do. There's wires that I'm still confused on, because every harness that I look at online with the company is just not exactly what I have. It's almost like in between production, they changed it, or they just didn't keep a standard wire code. So coming from the back sensor for the speedometer is a brown wire and a blue wire. Okay, so we have that. So now coming from the buggy harness, we have a choice of black wire, which is hot. It seems to be hot at all times. We have a blue with white tracer. We have a solid blue. It's a small blue wire. I mean a thick blue wire. We have green, of course, we know where that goes. So that's hooked up. And going to be grounded to the frame. We got the ground wire to the motor. So then this will be chassis ground. We got our power wires hooked up. We have our starter relay hooked up. We have our rectifier hooked up. We have our CDI box hooked up. We have a yellow wire, which usually runs to the dashboard from the magneto, and off a battery, and magneto runs accessories. But when I connect the battery, I get everything to the buggy, and I get the starting system to work using the buggy harness and the key with the push start. I got spark. It's like I got everything. But I'm wondering if it's running off of battery power at the moment, because I still think we got some wires here that needs to be hooked. So this yellow and green from the four-wheeler engine harness is for starter relay. The orange is power towards accessory. So I'm thinking that's going to go together with that yellow wire to the buggy. And the orange wire for Suzuki is power wire. So I think those two are going to go together. I'm thinking this black and white is going to be running up for the push button to kill, to kill the motor between this wire and this ground. So they'll need to be run up to the front. This black and yellow, I do not know what the black and yellow goes to. The orange wires, they're going to be power to the accessories. Gray is going to be for tail light, running light. Blue with red. Oh, the blue with black and the blue with red. That's your neutral and your reverse. So it shows up the illumination on the gate, on the dash. I'm putting in a set of dashboard lights from a Honda. And so that way you can see when it's in neutral, when it's in reverse. And that's what those are going to go to. And then you would just ground all the lights to the frame. Ground this wire to the frame. That's why you need it. And then these two are your hot wires. These are going to be your sensor wires, which are ground wires. So these, blue with black, blue with red, when that comes in contact with ground, it turns it on. So you would run power to all the lights with accessory, with the key. That would be that orange wire, the yellow wire, feeds off the dash when you turn the key on. And then when that one wire gets grounded, then you get neutral. When the other one, that releases, this one gets connected, then it puts reverse. And then you have another one that's probably for oil. It's either low or it's hot, whatever the sensor may be. So there'll be 3 lights. I'm going to incorporate the dashboard from a Honda and the 3 lights from the Honda 350 Rancher. And that's going to be mounted undecidable at the moment, but it'll be there. So if you see anything wrong, if the motor's running hot, it'll flash and tell you that it's hot. I got accessory hot wire back here, which is going to operate the fan. The roof is going to be closed off. So as air rushes through the front of the buggy, it's going to come down and run down behind the seats, down on top of the motor. So it'll have a way to be able to get cooled off. And then the fan is going to guarantee that it's going to get cooled off. So that's where that's going. And then there's going to be a luggage tire rack holder that's going to be mounted up there. How it's going to get mounted? More than likely it's going to be a piece of good all thread that's solid. It's going to go through these holes right here so it can swing up in the air, so it can get up out of the way. And then you take it and you pull a bungee strap, hook it somewhere so it can't fall down on you. So if you want to get to the gas tank, you'll be able to get it back here, fill it up, take the tire rack and the tire and set it back down, and then latch it on the back of the luggage rack. And I think that's going to be the best option. Then I'm going to clean up the roll cage, get all the rust boogers off of it, clean it up, dress this up, get this big chunk of jeez, it's too much work to pull all that off. I'm just going to leave it there. I'll just clean it up and paint over it. It'll be fine. So it'll just get cleaned up, painted. It ain't like anyone's going to see it anyway. I am having thoughts of a metal roof from a Kubota. Seems to be a little too wide, so I may have to shorten it long ways and sideways. So that's where I'm at with this. I'm going to reinforce the brake caliper brackets. I also got to reinforce the lug pattern back here because they're just drilled. I'm going to use some real thick grade washers, put them in behind the rim, and I'm going to weld them from the front, and then it'll be a multi-pattern rim to where they can be taken off, used on that Polaris bike, or they can go back on here. And well, you know, that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed it, I know it wasn't much of a video. I ain't exactly feeling too good today. I've been really overdoing it lately. So I'm trying to stay effective, trying to keep going with my project build, and trying to keep going. After moving all that stuff, the camper, the blazer frame, the motor, all my four-wheelers, my projects, all my parts, taking out a lot of trash, reorganizing everything. I'm still not finished, but I'm really seriously trying. So if you guys can kindly thank me by hitting like, hit subscribe. If you got any comments, leave the comment down in the comment section. If you feel my videos are worth sharing, please do so. It'll mean a lot to me. Because when I go down under the knife and get that surgery, I don't know exactly the quality of my life afterwards. Hopefully, I'll be able to continue doing what I'm doing. Just I hope I'm in less pain than what I'm in every day. Seems to be a cool enough doctor. Maybe I can show some gruesome pictures if anyone wants to see that, and some gruesome videos of my surgery. If you guys want to see that, hit like and subscribe. Share it. It'll be April 25th that I'll be getting that surgery done, and I'm going to see if I can request the doctor to take a video of it for me. And if that's the kind of stuff you guys want to see, you better hit that like button and subscribe, because I sure don't want to see the video of that doctor cutting into me. So if that's the kind of stuff you guys that's the kind of stuff you guys are into, and it'll give me you know, a lot of likes and create me some dang on recovery revenue, so I can guarantee make it through my surgery and to be able to support myself, well then I'll make it happen. So if you guys want to see my surgery being done, you guys go in and squash that like button and hit subscribe and hit share and hit the comments and tell me that's what you want to see. And then I'm going to make it pre-warning. Kids are not welcome to watch that. And there's going to be about a 20-second warning that what you about ready to witness is something you probably ain't going to want to witness. So I'll give you a heads up first. But if that's what you want to see, well, damn it, come on and tell me. Leave it in the comment section, and hit like and hit subscribe. If I get enough likes and subscribes, I'll share it. If not, I'm not even going to request it or even mention it. So that's up to you guys. You're going to let me know. Have a good one. See you next time.